Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Adriana. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. You're one of my online students from an online course, and you've also paid for the additional service to have me give you some more specific feedback regarding the pronunciation exercises in my course, specifically lessons 7 through 24 and lessons 26 through 47, and you also want some more specific feedback with your TOEFL speaking. So let's take a look at the first exercise, and I'll give you some feedback on that. So we're getting into the pronunciation. It's called the syllabic consonants. Un. Un. Okay, here we go. Let's hear how you go here.
The study of volcanoes, of volcanism, as was evident in our discussion last week, is an exciting reason for getting a BA in geology.
Now, wait a minute. I think you missed some words in there. It's often seen as an exciting reason for getting a BA in geology. Okay, the other word there is just the V sound. Volcanism.
Brandon, the #1 student at his high school, has written a letter to Columbia University with the assumption that he will be awarded a scholarship.
Okay, that's pretty good. So there, Columbia.
The maximum temperature ever recorded in the United States was 134 degrees Fahrenheit during a hot summer in Death Valley, California.
Okay, wait a minute here now. It's 134 degrees. Don't forget with the TH, you have to put the tongue between your teeth. This, that, these, those, 3, 30.
Emotionalism over the Johnston account caused each person to question the transition administration.
Again, you're missing some words in there. To question the loyalty of the transition administration. So it might be with your video, you want to make sure that you can see when you look at the video, enlarge the video. You can make it bigger. Now also if you need to, if you want to make the screen bigger, push Control plus. Control plus will make the screen bigger so you can see what you're seeing on the web page. That was tough for you. You had a lot of problems with pausing there. The very beginning, you want to read it more like this. The emotionalism over the Johnston account caused each person to question the loyalty of the transition administration there. So the way that you were reading it, you were having too many pauses in there.
The activism, skepticism, and criticism of the union helped to eliminate the operational workers.
Okay, be careful about pausing after the word the. Typically, we have these certain words called determiners. Words like a, and the, even words like several or many, we typically won't pause right after that word. You want to say, if you read it again, but your tone was good on this, say, the activism, skepticism, and criticism of the union helped to eliminate the oppression of its workers. So the difficulty here was sentence rhythm. Your sentence rhythm was not that great. And sentence rhythm, essentially, it's the combination of stress and unstressed words in the English language, and you want to make sure you're not stressing what we call the determiners, auxiliary verbs, and prepositions. Those kinds of words are unstressed words. Okay, so let's read it together. Number 1, the study of volcanoes, volcanism, as was evident in our discussion last week, is often seen as an exciting reason for getting a BA in geology. Number 2, Brandon, the #1 student at his high school, has written a letter to Columbia University with the assumption that he will be awarded a scholarship. Number 3, the maximum temperature ever recorded in the United States was 134 degrees Fahrenheit during an extremely hot summer in Death Valley, California. 4, The emotionalism over the Johnston account caused each person to question the loyalty of the transition administration. 5. The activism, skepticism, and criticism of the union helped to eliminate the oppression of its workers. Okay, so the good news is, I think, with this particular sound, the and un, you really have no problems with that sound at all. So this is good for you. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph reading.
Autism, an abnormal absorption with the self, is often marked by communication disorders and short attention span and inability to treat others as people.
Okay, let's take the word inability, not inability, but inability. Also the word autism.
Although there is not known cause or cure, many dissertations have been written about possible treatments for disorder, with some allowing its patients to live semi-normal lives.
Okay, so this is tough for you. So you're seeing, I'm guessing, a lot of new words, and you might want to write some of these words down. But you will, I should tell you that all the words that you see here, these, especially the ones you're not sure about, you will also see them in my vocabulary section of my course. And what I do is I recycle the vocabulary words in the first part of my course. You will also see them in the pronunciation, reading, listening, speaking, and even the writing aspects of my course. So you will see those in all the different parts of the course to help you learn the words.
Statistics suggest that approximately 5 in 1,000 people are affected by autism, making it more common in a population than previously thought.
Okay, still the TH sound is tough for you. Thought, previously, then. All right, so this one, I would recommend you practice this, reading this a few times. There's just so many words in there you're unfamiliar with. But try to read it with me right now and really pay attention to my pacing and my tone. Okay, here you go. You ready? Autism, an abnormal absorption with the self, is often marked by communication disorders and short attention span and inability to treat others as people. Although there is no known cause or cure, many dissertations have been written about possible treatments for the disorder, with some allowing its patients to live semi-normal lives. Statistics suggest that approximately 5 in 1,000 people are affected by autism, making it more common in our population than previously thought. So that's a mistake in the paragraph. It should say making it, not making in. All right, now let's go to your speaking task. And what I want to do now is I'm going to play your whole speaking task, all 45 seconds of it first, so I can just get a sense of how you've organized the speech. And then the second time, I will comment on it, and I will break it into its different parts, looking at your introduction, looking at your body, and also the conclusion part of your speech, and try to give you some appropriate feedback, and also a score, so you can see how you're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up the rubrics too, so I can see that, and we'll just see what's going on there. So give me a quick sec. I open up that document. So I'm going to go to the independent speaking task rubrics. Okay, here we go. And your question here, let me take a look at it. So, what are the most important characteristics of an ideal marriage partner? So, good question. Now, these kind of questions are a little bit dangerous because they're very open. They're open-ended type questions. But the problem is you have only 45 seconds to answer these things, so you have to make sure that you do not try to talk about too many different things, because that doesn't give you enough time to provide what we call adequate supporting detail for those ideas.
In my view, two characteristics are essential for an ideal marriage partner, and those are compatibility and attraction. Firstly, compatibility is very important because spending the rest of your life with someone is a huge commitment. As a result, without compatibility in values, interests, and goals, it could be a struggle rather than a partnership. Secondly, I assert that attraction is tremendously important too. Case in point, since fidelity is part of the marriage contract, the expression of love will be limited to your partner. So, should be a person you are attracted to. For the aforementioned reasons, I contend that compatibility and attraction are two important qualities for an ideal marriage partner.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to the beginning. Okay, so I think with this one, you will not get 26 out of 30. Your intelligibility, unfortunately, is affected. There's a few words in there. I'm going to point them out in just a minute. There are a few words in there that are difficult for me to understand. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Let's go to your topic statement.
In my view, two characteristics are essential for an ideal marriage partner, and those are compatibility and attraction. Firstly,
this is the hard part. Compatibility and attraction. Compatibility, attraction. Not attraction, but compatibility and attraction. Those two key words, I'm having difficulty understanding what you're saying there, and unfortunately, those are very, very important. So I think because you're having some problems with those two words, and those two words happen to be the two reasons or the two important characteristics in what you call an ideal marriage, that's probably just that is going to throw your speech out of the 26 range.
Compatibility is very important because spending the rest of your life with someone is...
Now you're saying spending the rest of your life. I wouldn't say that. You want to say compatibility is important because if I have to spend. So focus it more on you by using I. The I point of view is going to work better than the you point of view. So that's called a pronoun shift. So you want to be careful that you're keeping everything unified from your own personal experience and something like that. So that would be my comments there. That's kind of a grammar error.
A huge commitment. As a result, without compatibility in values, interests, and goals, it could be a struggle rather than a partnership.
No, that was good vocabulary. It could be a struggle rather than a partnership. So I thought you had some great vocabulary in there to help, support what you're trying to say.
Secondly, I said that attraction is tremendously important too.
Now that's a good transition. So attraction is tremendously important too, but there's a word in there. Let me go back.
Attraction is tremendously important too. Case in point. Secondly, I said that attraction is tremendously...
So I accept that. That's kind of weird. We don't usually say it like that. You just say, an additional characteristic important in an ideal marriage is attraction. So I don't think you really need to say, I accept that. That's just kind of weird. That's odd grammar. That's not natural sounding. Most native speakers wouldn't say that. I accept that. Accept that is, we don't typically use it in that way.
Tremendously important too. Case in point.
Now, case in point, I've heard you use several of case in points. Now, there's nothing wrong with using a case in point. I would say there's other words you can use there. It's called for example, for instance, to illustrate, something like that. So, but case in point works, but I just don't want you to be hung up and use that every single time. I just want you to know that there's other options out there to introduce examples.
Fidelity is part of the marriage contract. The expression of love will be limited to your marriage contract. The expression of...
Let me go back.
Point. Since fidelity is part of the marriage contract...
Since what?
Two. Case in point. Since fidelity is part...
I don't know what you're saying there. I'm having trouble with that.
The marriage contract.
Right there.
Case in point, since fidelity is part of the
I think you're saying, I think civility. Civility? I'm not sure.
marriage contract, the expression of love will be limited to your partner.
Would be limited to my partner. I would use my there, not your.
So, should be a person you are attracted to. For of love will be limited to your partner. So, should be a person you are attracted to.
So should be a person you are attracted to. I don't know, you're missing a subject there. You want to say your marriage partner should be a person you're attracted to. If you want to make it formal, your marriage partner should be someone to whom you are attracted. Now, you don't have to be that formal with your speaking, but you're missing a subject in there.
For the aforementioned reasons, I contend that compatibility and attraction are two important qualities for an ideal marriage partner.
Okay, so I kind of picked it apart. Hope it's not too painful when I do this, but I'm just trying to go through every little thing in there to point out every small problem that could cause you trouble. I think the good news is you have a good organization, you have a good topic statement, you refer to that, in the different parts of your speech, so there's no major problems with that. You have some details to help support your ideas. You use transition words to help organize your ideas. I think you have some vocabulary or some minor grammar problems that I pointed out. You're missing a subject in there one time. Also, there are some problems understanding some of those words, and particularly the word attraction, compatibility, and that other word I wasn't quite sure about. I think you were saying civility, but you're saying more civility. But it's more civility. So you're consistently having some trouble with your pronunciation, differentiating between the I, E. For example, bit, beat, mit, meet. Those. So anyway, I think that's about it. Thank you for completing the practice test. And I look forward to hearing from you again. So, no, wait a minute. I didn't give you your score here. So, based on some problems with your delivery and some minor problems with grammar, I'm going to give you 23 points out of 30, or 3.0 out of 4 on this particular practice test.